Ladies, gentlemen, and most importantly, family of Sergeant Engracia, thank you for being here to memorialize the service and life of Brandon. I want to begin with an excerpt from a homily from Father Henry Scott Holland given in 1910. He said, "I am I, and you are you. And the old life that we lived so fondly together is untouched, unchanged. Whatever we were to each other, that we are still. Call me by the old familiar name. Speak of me in the easy way which you always used." As I read that, it helps me understand that while grief is and always will be a burden for the living to bear, we will never be deprived of the memories that we have with Sergeant Engracia. He gave those to all of us here and would be the greatest of his services to let them fade. My first interaction with Sergeant Engracia was during the stressful and frankly unenjoyable time of my change in command inventories. Sergeant Engracia, being the company armorer, had prepared his equipment for inspection, and when Lieutenant Kivett brought me to the arms room to begin, I found Sergeant Engracia fully prepared. He had a stack of papers about an inch thick, with hundreds of pieces of property laid out dress right dress, all while standing with his hands calmly folded on his chest. The layout went perfectly, and I knew I could trust him from the first week of my command. And 4 short months later, as the battalion prepared to deploy to the National Training Center, B's company had to give a gunner to serve as the battalion commander's gunner. While qualified, Sergeant Engracia was not the first person I recommended. I fought hard, and perhaps even made an attempt at deceit to keep him within the company. However, attempting to hide Sergeant Engracia's exceptional reputation was a fool's errand. I begrudgingly sent him away from the company for a month to serve with Colonel Alberding, and was unsurprised when I heard nothing but the quality of his performance. He was an exceptional, non-commissioned officer, but he was so much more than that to many of his comrades. You'll hear from the gentleman sitting with me about how he was an exceptional cook. You'll hear from them about how he was a skilled outdoorsman, and perhaps above all else, you will hear about how he was a steadfast and loyal companion. The loss of Sergeant Engracia will continue to tear at us, continue to cause us to ask questions of ourselves that may never be answered. However, respectfully, I submit that if we focus on what we already know, that we respected his abilities, that we valued his friendship, and that we will always be better for having shared his company. To his family, I cannot imagine your grief. In these ineffably difficult times, please take some measure of comfort in knowing that B's company and the Thunderbolt Battalion will always be in service to you. Your family will remain in my prayers, and Brandon's memory will not fade. What we were, that we are still. Ready first, Thunderbolts, peace mode.
Soldier tributes will be given by Sergeant Justin Conley, Sergeant Joshua Putnam, and Specialist Nigel Ybanez.
Good afternoon. My name is Sergeant Justin Conley. Sergeant Brandon Engracia was one of my best friends. I remember when I met him. We discussed our past experience with the tanks. We quickly became friends, and when we got our tank assignments, I was assigned as his wingman. With more time, we became good friends, and I'd invite him to dinner at my house, where he met my wife and my daughter. Brandon was always a gentleman and a good friend. We later would start hunting. Whenever we finished, he was our cook. He made the best burgers I ever had, all on a piece of slate stone we picked up earlier in that day. When we did our platoon live fire, Brandon and I basically knew what each other were thinking when it came to our engagements. Because of this, anytime we had to direct each other onto a target, we were able to find it almost immediately. I remember it was our last engagement of the run, and his loader was having difficulty loading his last round. Lieutenant Kanaski, his tank commander at the time, then asked my crew to kill the target for them. After we engaged the target, he came over the radio laughing and said it was down. Brandon had a habit of keeping his arms room in a state of control. If he picked something up and moved it without his consent, he would tell you that the item didn't go there and would bug you until it was in precisely the same spot it was in. I would sometimes mess with him when he wasn't looking by moving stuff an inch or two away from where it was, just to see if he noticed. He was very proud of the fact that he served in the Army. He's a good NCO and a damn good friend. Brandon was always welcome at my house. We had dinner several times a month, and he'd always hang out with my wife and I remember when my daughter addressed him as he came through the door. She said, "Hi, Bran," and I could see that it melted his heart. It's hard that he's gone. I'm still waiting for the day that when he rolls up into my driveway, asking for help with an oil change, or jumps into the passenger seat of my Jeep, asking where we're going. I will always carry him in my heart and will honor the man that he was. May Odin receive you as the warrior you are, and the Valkyrie take care of you until we meet again. Thank you.